On this episode of Deep Thrones, we review House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 4, Tumbleton. We go to the Vale with Daemon Targaryen to look for coin. We go to Harrenhal with Criston Cole to look for Aemond. And we rule Tumbleton with an iron fist with Ormond Hightower, plus many more hilarious segments. Winter is here.
Check out the hand switch, shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Aria just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots, hitting bricks, we testing the kids.
Welcome to Deep Thrones, the most entertaining podcast in the world of Ice and Fire. I'm your host, Sims. I've got two hosts with me today. Sheedy, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
And Kenz, what's going on?
Hey guys.
Welcome to
team.
your, we got the full team back since Kenz got married. First one back. How's it feel?
About the same.
It does. And this,
Okay, romantic.
I want to quickly say a few quick things as we get going here. One, to the Deep Thrones Pod listeners, this is a great episode to watch on YouTube because we're coming at you with 50% less sleeves. We're coming at Chris is showing off the guns, sleeveless shirt.
Guns out for
this is
Rhaenyra,
oh my
dude.
God,
Come
he's
on, let's
flexing.
go.
It's
This is
it's
a-
not just it's like it's yeah, I can almost see a little side boob there. There's
Yeah.
just
I
like
mean,
a little
I got my Vermithor here and my silver ring here. I'm
Wow.
riding for Rhaenyra. Someone's got to show up and be loyal because Ulf and Hugh were kind of fucking up. So
Yeah.
we're bringing
And
it today.
if you're listening to the pod, when he said I got my Vermithor here and my silver wing, he pointed at his nipples. It was very weird.
Mhm.
I want to say
Yes,
something real quick
yes.
also for Team Greens. We're back. We're so back. We'll get into it. We'll get into everything. But listen, we lost our sweet prince, Otto Hightower, right? He had an unfortunate sword accident. And from the ashes, we have been given two amazing new Greens. We've been given Ormond Hightower, and we've also been giving dare on, dare in, dare out. Doesn't matter. Greens in 5. We got a great team. We got a great squad. Aemond, I don't know what he's up to. Cole and Gwaine are going to be doing some guerrilla warfare. We got Aegon kissing feet, but he's also found Sunfire's body. A lot of fun stuff happening for Team Greens. Rhaenyra sucks. Queen of Bastards. Greens in 5, maybe 6.
Greens in 5. Okay, well, you've already lost the first 3 games. You're starting off 0-3. Aemon just got stabbed the last episode, so I don't know what's going on with him. Criston Cole is just crying in his camp and now is like turning torch light. I don't know what's happening with him. And then, Larys is getting turned on and all boned up watching his king kiss some feet. So I don't know. That's 0-3 off the jump, man.
First off, it's at least 1 and 2 because you can't kink shame. So Laris is getting boned up. This is like kind of a win. But we'll get into it. First off, the last podcast we did, we said we were rooting for the U.S. over Belgium. Went poorly.
Yeah,
Very poor.
yeah, that didn't work out.
Kins, have you been watching the World Cup?
in and out,
Same.
off and on. Better way to say it.
Yeah. This was a big sporting event weekend because Argentina narrowly beat Switzerland in like extra time, and Conor McGregor
England.
narrowly fought a fight in UFC.
Yeah, a few seconds. England narrowly won as well. I mean, today I'm glad we had House of the Dragon because all the fan watching that I had today was the White Sox. There was no World Cup, there was no UFC, there was no marquee event. It was just the White Sox laying it on the A's today.
Dude, they gave it to him. And I will say, too, it is so nice to have Sunday viewing. And not just Sunday viewing, but House of the Dragon, guys. Obviously, I send you guys a million memes. It's in the zeitgeist. We're getting sent a ton. I'm getting sent a ton of stuff. People are talking about between A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and now House of the Dragon Season 3 being good again. They're like, Westeros is having itself a year.
This is how it was meant to be.
Imagine if George in the fall wins a winter. He's like, it's ready. It's ready. I get it. I finished it.
That'd be crazy. All right, let's dive into this. You have thoughts. Let's break down the scenes and then we'll hear that green propaganda at the end.
In this segment, as we always do. So we open in Tumbleton, and the Greens are sort of running the show. They appear to be looting a little bit, but they're not really looting. They're housing soldiers. They're doing what the British did during the Revolution.
Yeah, I mean they've got what 15,000 men that the guy said. So they're occupying, they're taking food, they're as we see later, being a little bit aggressive with some of the things that they take. But we find out here that basically Vagar doesn't isn't going to come or might not come, and then their defenses won't hold if Vagar doesn't.
Right. They're expecting that. And there's a lot of people like seeking counsel with Ormond because he is again running the show. I think it's the people who like rule Tumbleton. They're like, we're not a military town. We're just a trade town. Ormond gets out of the tub. They do kind of a zoom in on his butt, which I felt was an interesting cinematography choice, but Green's up. Um,
I
and
thought he
Good
was going
luck.
to hang dong for sure. I thought we were going to get some Ormond dong in there, but
I wish he did. I kind
Bit
of
of a
wish he did.
miss. Yeah.
Bit of a miss, Kins. That's a Deep Thrones miss. That's the pod's official stance on that is that is a miss. He could have done it. He should have done it, quite frankly. And I think we're finally also introduced to Daron, which is nice.
yeah, we get the formal confirmation that that is Darren, who's squiring for Ormond. And just a little bit of background on Tumbleton and the house that is in control there. It's House Footley. So the male in control is kind of insignificant. You could really tell that the lady is the one who's really standing on business there. Her name's Sheris, and she's going to play a massive role if it's anything like it is in the books, but she'll play a big role in the Tumbleton scenes in the future here.
Hmm.
She did say Rhaenyra is the queen to Ormond, like to his face. She's got
Yep.
she's got gonads. Rhaenyra has a small council on Tumbleton. Orwell's in the mix. Sweet Orwell. He had an episode. He had a heck of an episode. Orwell's there suggesting sending the Riverlords to clean up Tumbleton.
Yeah, it seems like she's starting to get a functioning small council now. So, Orwell, like you discussed in the last episode of Deep Thrones, the Maester's technically loyal to the castle. So Orwell here is getting a second lease on life and being quite useful. Masseria fully engulfed in her role as the mistress of whispers. She has a suggestion to name your boy Torm Handerly Master of Coin.
Another good
Um,
thing.
but Orwell's back. He had a strong episode for sure.
Yeah. Hey, you know who's AWOL? Corliss. He's not there. Guy's useless. He's got nothing. You know what? He feels spurned. He feels spurned. Kinsey, what do you think of that? Do you think Corliss is just done with her, or do you think like sending Alan, like that's kind of
I was curious, is he like going to fight the pirate lords that are like raiding the coast, or is he completely abandoning her? Okay. So I guess at least he's
Yeah.
making an excuse. But yeah, I mean,
Which that's actually something that we said last episode. We're like, if you're trying to get gold, why don't you go like get rid of the pirates who are taking over your trade routes and stuff? So I'm glad he's taking initiative and going to do that.
yeah. No, me too. Rhaenyra goes to Alicent, asks just to like do like a little Ormond scouting because now she's very intrigued about Ormond because Ormond is now a known quantity. He's taken a town. He has spurned her. He gave her a fake Darren. And Helene is
Man.
there kind of playing with her daughter. And Alicent was like, listen, like I know about as much about Ormond as you do. Like I knew him a little bit. Apparently he's raising Daron as his own son. They have kind of a nice conversation about Daron and how she sent him away to get away from the clutches of King's Landing.
Yep, I would say the biggest things we learned from that conversation where Alicent chose to send Darren away to kind of get away from the madness of the Targaryens in a way. And then the other thing that we learned is that Ormond has a strong sensitivity to odors, which Rhaenyra kind of turned back and was like, oh, like, so I wonder if that's going to play in a role
They're gonna
in some
smoke
of the
him out.
Tumbleton scenes.
that
Yeah,
sounds like they're just
like,
gonna make it really stinky, and he's
Yeah.
just,
Rhaenyra's like having dragons like shit over Tumbleton.
that's what I'm thinking.
honestly.
Like,
Are we the small council? Guys,
like
this is genius.
perfect.
Yeah.
Also,
Um,
is Darren actually like a redhead, like a high tower, or is this another case of Ormond being the greatest hairdresser in all of Westeros?
That's interesting because I would wonder, and I don't think it would be part of subterfuge. What's the word I'm trying to say? Where I'm not. I don't think he's trying to be.
Subterfuge.
Yes, subterfuge. He's not trying to be sneaky. I think if anything, unless he is just a natural redhead taking after his mother because of Punnett squares, like she had four kids, three are Targaryen. He has the Hightower hair. But I could see Ormond like forcing him to dye his hair to be more Hightower, based on what we've seen from Ormond so far.
Yeah,
I
that
wouldn't be
could
shocked.
be.
I just thought it was so funny that Rhaenyra like realized she could dye someone's hair Targaryen blonde and like checked his root. And she's like, wait a minute, could have
You
been
could have
doing
done.
this the whole time.
There are so many things that are just novel concepts to Rhaenyra,
Yeah.
and it's just so funny with her
Well,
face when she realizes these things.
Rhaenyra could have gotten really canceled depending on how far she pushed that with the with the kids there. She could have gotten in a lot of trouble. A
With
little too
the
Trudeau-ish there.
Valerians.
Yeah, a little too. Alan asks Corliss to attend the small council, and then Corliss is like, I got an idea. You go, you take notes, you let me know what's going on. We'll talk after the fact. It's like, being hungover in college when you have class with your buddy and you're like, you go and you let me know like what the vibe is.
But he is going to be useful and clean up the triarchy on those trade routes. So I think I think he can't stand being around Rhaenyra because of the recent spurning, and he's like, well, I'm not going to be outright disloyal and turncoat, but I also like need to go kill someone and not be near this lady. So
Yeah, that's kind of how I was reading it. I was like, he's probably like, let me get out of here before I say or do something I shouldn't do.
mhm,
Like going to the gym to blow off steam, except that he's killing
mhm.
pirates. They didn't have the gym
Casual.
back then. Yeah. Aegon and Larys arrive at Rook's Rest. Aegon is hugging what he believes to be Sunfire's corpse, although Aegon claims that Sunfire is alive. Something about whatever Sunfire is doing laying there is convincing Aegon that he's alive. They see some just sort of kind of rough and tumble fellas, and it seems that Rook's Rest is being run by these rough and tumble fellas. We'll get more into that later. Cole and Gwen arrive at Harrenhal. Alice confronts them. Alice Rivers, I love. I honestly love the portrayal of her. The actress does an amazing job oh my, when she does that, I love her accent. Alice Rivers, she's an owl.
She's an owl. Um, so it's interesting to me how like Kristen and Gawain interact with her. I don't know if there's something about being at Harrenhal and you kind of like fall under a spell or something, but it seemed to me that they were very like lenient towards someone who's just like, yeah, everyone's dead. I don't know what happened to Aemond. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there should have been a little bit more force there. But
Mhm.
again, like she is a witch, so there's probably some sort of enchanting or something happening or bewitching.
They didn't really put the screws to her, which in Westeros, people tend to put the screws to you if they really want the answers.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a scene earlier in the season where like Kristen's camp is like disorderly and
Right.
assaulting people and stuff, and then we see this scene where they're kind of soft on her.
Mm.
Seems a little interesting. But I just want to add one point about the last scene with Aegon and Sunfire. Um, there's a scene later on where we see the corpse of Meleys who died in that same battle, and there was a lot more decay and flesh mixing and things like that from Meleys
Oh yeah.
as opposed to what we saw in Sunfire, who didn't have any flies around it really. There was no like flesh wounds that we saw, so
Hmm.
I think Aegon might be onto something there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And also then coming back to this scene, she does let them know the first that they've heard that Rhaenyra is taking King's Landing, and Gwaine and Cole are like, what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Uh,
was great.
Yeah, they have a chat. Their chat is essentially just that the situation is bleak. And Cole says, he's like, let's just make it dirty. Our task now is to fuck up the Winter Wolves and the River Lords to make life hard for them. And we're going to be doing guerrilla warfare. It sounds like he's going to get in the muck. They're going to be kind of blitzing them, maybe running back into the woods, which is weird because I think in the books it's sort of the other way around, where the Winter Wolves and the River Lords are sort of the kind of squirrely fellas. But hey, I like this angle and it greens up.
So, it's we see this a lot throughout the Riverlands, whether it's in Game of Thrones, whether it's in House of the Dragon, or any other source material. But these hosts go into the Riverlands, and then it's just chaos, and you end
Yeah.
up with broken men. If we look at a Game of Thrones, like the Hound and his men, or I'm sorry, the Mountain and his men ravaging the Riverlands. You have
Whispering Wood.
the Whispering Wood, the Brothers Without Banners. So like this is a theme that we see constantly, and I think Harrenhal is kind of a perfect, I don't know, manifestation or like place to display that because it's a destroyed place. It's barely functional. It's always burnt up. People are always dying there. There's ghost sightings and things like that. But it's so coveted because it's in the central command position in the Riverlands, which
Massive.
like if you yeah, massive. And if you look at the map of Westeros, like the Riverlands are right smack dab in the middle. So it's just I find it like a very cool theme throughout all of the material that the Riverlands are just constantly in this like ravaged situation and never having a chill moment.
No, always. It's the more things change in Westeros, the more things stay the same. They're always the site of like the most intense conflict. Rhaenyra in the next scene plays with Viserys' old toys. Alan visits her. They have a nice talk about the Doom, but this is sort of just Alan kind of telling her like you spurned the old man. He's been spurned a bunch, you know. Not much more there. But when Aegon and Larys then go to Rook's Rest, and like you said, they see Meleys's rotting corpse, and they're gonna have to work and pretend that they're lowborn. My boy Aegon needs to swallow his pride. Every scene he's in, he is giving hints that he is like someone else. And they meet a character from the books. I forgot his name, Tangletongue or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't tell from the scenes who they were referring to as Tangletongue, but I was like, oh, that's like an actual call out from the books, but it yeah,
he's the
maybe I
guy
can
that's
do
nice
like
to
some more.
Aegon. He's the nice.
Yeah.
He's the one
Yeah.
helping
Like
him
his
move the
daughter.
poop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he yeah, I don't want to do any spoilers or anything, but
And don't.
uh once that event happens, we can circle back.
Yeah, yeah. Good call.
Stick a pin in that.
Yeah,
We'll
put a pin in that one.
stick a sock in it.
But there's one thing really quick too. We talked about Rhaenyra having these kind of novel ideas pop up on her. In that last scene with Alan and Rhaenyra, Alan was like, "Yeah, we on the ships we use cats for the rats," and then Rhaenyra's just like, "What? Never thought of
Yeah,
that."
I could have.
I loved that scene. Like he's just like practical knowledge, and he's just like
hmm
so enlightened to her.
Yes, based on what I've been reading too, I think in the lore that might be a shout out to it. I'm pretty sure after Aegon kills the rat catchers, it's Otto Hightower who lets a bunch of cats loose in the Red Keep, and that's why generations of cats live in the Red Keep. And when Syrio Forel is training Arya and he tells her to chase cats, it's because it's known that the Red Keep has a ton of cats dating back to Otto Hightower, letting them loose to chase the rats.
Love that.
So a
Look
little
at
peek behind the
Otto.
curtain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's book Otto. Now it's Alan Valerian.
Alan, big shout out to Alan. They got it wrong. A green soldier is inappropriate to Hugh's wife, who is staying with her brother in Tumbleton. There leads to a huge fight, which then is brought in front of Ormond. Um, and Ormond just kind of says, you know, this soldier will be gelded. If he does it again, he'll be hanged. And he tells Daron, he's like, you got to have a firm but fair hand when handling these situations.
Hmm.
Loved that scene. I thought that made a lot of sense for Ormond Hightower and his lineage, where he comes from, what we know about Otto and the family. I was thoroughly impressed with this scene and Ormond at this moment. And one line that he says, "Lawlessness and disorder claw at our gates," when he's speaking with Darren, and that's definitely a foreshadowing of what we're going to see at Tumbleton.
For sure. Those gates are going to get pretty clawed up. Um, Rhaenyra has like Ulf and Hugh kind of doing like flyovers of Tumbleton and she has a conversation with Hugh, and they're still asking for stuff. He wants to specifically fly over Tumbleton because that's where his wife is. He wants to make sure things are good with Vermithor, huge ass dragon. Um, and there's also a quick cut to the small folk. There's like a Queen of Bastards graffiti.
Big
It's
spray
fucked
painted
up.
town.
It's like as far as graffiti goes, it's not that bad.
It's
Um,
pretty good.
Rhaenyra asks Orwyle like how strong the Faith and Hightower relationship is. She also asks Orwyle to get him like to gather all of the letters that Otto and Ormond sent back and forth to learn more about that relationship. Orwyle's in it, man. My guy Orwyle, he's coming up.
He's
Sweet
become
boy.
a trusted advisor again. Um, it's funny though because he talked about the same thing that we talked about on the last episode of the pod of how we handle the High Septon and the anointing situation.
Hmm.
And he was like, at first he kind of suggested just overlooking it, and he's like, why do you need the High Septon's approval. You have dragons. You're on the Iron Throne. You're literally ruling, like you're legitimate. But then he was like, unless you're looking for a more permanent removal, and Rhaenyra seemed kind of like put off by that. But I
He's like,
mean,
Orwell, you dog.
yeah,
She was
it's
impressed.
kind of a smart thing to do.
I think season two, Ryan Condal doesn't write that, but I think because of all the complaints, season three, Ryan Condal was like, we need to make sure that the fans know that we know that she can just kill these people.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to.
Hmm.
Damon at the Vale meets with Jane Eyre, and oh my goodness, Jane Eyre took my breath away. She was
She's dope.
absolutely dressed up, petting her
Yeah,
big
but
ass
just
dog.
I mean, witty though, she's throwing everything right back at Damon that he's throwing at
Throw
her.
it back.
Uh,
Sorry, please continue.
oh man. So yeah, Damon shows up. He's like giving her grief about not sending the swords and throw it back.
Not done.
Uh, yeah, and she's like, "Well, the deal was I'd send the swords if you send the dragon, but you sent this baby dragon.
Hmm.
Very insulting. This thing can't protect anything." But they kind of give jabs back and forth. Damon says, "Well, instead of men, how about you just give over some gold?" And she ends up doing that eventually, but she doesn't mention anything about Rhaena and Sheep Stealer in the Vale.
No, what did you think of Jane, Kins?
I thought I mean, it was a nice scene, but I thought it was interesting that she didn't mention Raina and Sheep Stealer because I thought she was very much going to be like, I thought she was going to turn her over, but um,
Too. I want to give a shout out to House of the Dragon because there's no way this set was like retained after Game of Thrones. They made the room looks exactly the same as the Vale in Game of Thrones. We saw a lot of that room with the moon door and all that. They did a really great job.
Mhm.
The high up seats and the moon door and Damon walking around it, really commanding the room. That was awesome. Damon on Caraxes and Caraxes takes off, not listening to Damon. Caraxes and Daemon are two of the most bonded dragons in the realm, and we go back to season one Viserys. The illusion that they control the dragons is way off. The dragons are the kings, not the Targaryens. And Caraxes can probably smell Sheep Stealer. It looks like Chris got a little visit from Sleeve Stealer. And Caraxes takes Daemon to a cave where Rhaena is.
You're on fire today, man. I love this energy. This is what we need every week. This is what
oh,
we need
Feeling it.
every week.
You're right. You're right.
Uh, no, yeah, Damon pulls up. He's like, man, Caraxes really wanted me to check this out. He starts approaching, takes out Dark Sister, demands who's in there, and then all of a sudden you see kind of fire start, popping up, which to us is clearly coming from a dragon's, mouth. Could have been like a cave fire, like a campfire sort of deal. But Reyna approaches and Damon's immediately disarmed, but has a ton of questions. And this conversation, what I thought was one of the best in the episode.
I wrote that in my notes. I said this is the first time we've seen Damon be a parent in all of it, and like you could see there was like a genuine like, oh, I'm responsible for this person. And Raina throws it in his face like we've never even fucking talked. Like, but he was like, no, like you are my daughter, kind of thing. And you could see in his face he was so dismayed that it was her. I still think there's an angle where they're gonna just turn Raina into Nettles. She cut her hair. She's,
Yeah.
this character from the books where she eventually will just change her name and say that she died at sea, Raina did, kind of thing. But seeing Damon really wrestle with that, and then Damon sees that guy. So Raina and Sheepstealer take off. She says, "You'll snitch on me if you will, father, but I ask you this one thing: just let me live in the Vale with Sheepstealer." She takes off, and she has that Targaryen thing of like, "I bonded with this dragon." And Damon sees a guy, and he's like, "Huh."
Yeah, I didn't get that in the moment. I was like, what the hell is he gonna do to this goat herder? Like, what's he
Yeah,
got up his
I
sleeve here?
I should have caught on to the fact just knowing it's Damon, like of course he's gonna kill that guy and sub out the bodies. But for a second I was like, well, maybe he's gonna start some sort of like rumor or something, like spread this lady was never here or something like that. But again, it's Damon. I should have known. Head off for sure.
Kills the guy, burns him up, and we'll get to that in a minute. We get back to Ormond at Tumbleton. They got a Raven from Harrenhal, and he goes fucking ape shit because he thinks Alice has successfully hidden Aemond from Cole and Gwaine, so they think Aemond has fled, much like Aegon. I don't know how she hid Vhagar. I am not sure what the Vhagar angle is. Next week they better
I
explain
mean,
that
he's
one.
got to be on the God's Eye, right? Like that's the only
Oh,
place.
yeah, you're right. That's actually a great. This guy read the books. I'm telling you, that's a great angle. He probably is probably on the Isle of Faces in the God's Eye, hanging
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And yeah, great call. Ormond goes berserk, and it's so funny when you can tell Ormond's about to go berserk. Like Daron must have seen this a n number of times because he tells this cupbearer, he's like, leave, leave, get out. Kid leaves, and he just starts crushing the table with his sword. He's pissed. He's getting bad news all week because he also got a letter from Storm's End. Oris Baratheon is full of fucking excuses. Ah, my swords, it's long to gather my swords, you know. So Ormond is taking some L's.
Yeah, and this is I think the beginning of where I kind of have a little bit of beef with Orman's portrayal, but I'll let us get through the episode because I think the scene toward the end is the one that I have most
Yeah, we'll finish it up.
contention with. But you do see that he's not like a lot of I think people in his position would get a couple of those bad ravens or bad news and say, all right, time to actually like surrender. I know that I'll still stay alive because they already offered me clemency, sort of deal. Maybe not so much after taking Tumbleton after already been in the knee. I don't know, but the point is, like, he's still, even though he freaks out, he still has a plan, and I feel like he's the type of character that's always going to have this sort of cunning and similar to Otto, like planning out the steps ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a tough sell for him to be like, "Oh, this was we didn't mean to take Tubman. We're just staying here." Oh, that's not Daron. That's not Daron. Who told you that was Daron? That's not that kid's not there. This is the redhead. Yeah, this is
Oh,
Daron.
my bad.
Yeah, what are you talking about? We did that? Well, you must have been talking to someone else. Um, Orwell talks to Rhaenyra. Ormond never returned any letters to Otto, and I guess kind of says that he fashioned himself the king of Old Town kind of thing.
Yeah, this is also interesting to me because does that mean Otto would send stuff out and then it would just like be obeyed and there was no need for a response, or like was Otto requesting information and it was going unanswered?
I think Ormond was leaving him on red, was how I perceived it.
Hmm.
Or it was like,
What'd you think of that, Kens?
That's how I read it too. Was like Otto
Hmm.
was trying to reach out, and the guy was just like,
yeah. I'll tell you, you know what that kind of feels like.
Interesting.
Well, you both are married, so I'll tell you from a single person's perspective. You're on Instagram, someone posts a fire pic on their story, so you do the fire emoji, and then it says seen 2 hours ago, and you're like, they're probably just thinking of a response.
and then never get back to you. So sad. Oh, this is
No, well,
hypothetical.
no, because then I visit their profile and it says user not available. So I think they like just they
Oh,
deleted their Instagram.
this happens a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens all the time, actually. It's a super common thing. Um, Ulf talks to Rhaenyra. He's kind of like trying to get things for his boys, not even himself.
So
He's
fun.
like,
Dude,
he's
so
like,
funny.
and then when she spurns him, he's like, by the way, there's hella bad graffiti about you in the
I
streets.
love that.
Ulf is kind of a goofball at this point.
What a
I
dude.
can't believe he's just like rolling in asking for favors for the homies. Like it's like, yeah, my boys at the tavern, it'd be nice if you could hook him up with a crib and bail my boy out. It's
Kind of
This
insane.
cool.
guy named blah 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 needs this, and this other guy named blah 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 needs.
Yeah. So can he be
What?
pardoned for his crimes and given passage to Essos? Like what? He needs to be
Crazy.
pardoned and then sent overseas. Um, Laris and Aegon have another chat. Aegon was pissed because he finds out from Laris that he was declared dead by Rhaenyra. And then Aegon is told there's no more food for him from, I think that was the Tumbletongue was the guy who tells him that 'cause he has a stutter. And then he kind of gets in a fight with the guy who's running the show because there's no food left. And the guy pulls a knife on him and says, kiss my feet.
Aegon's got to learn when to just like go with the flow. I mean, dude, you can't even walk. You've got no weapons really. The only guy you got with you is a master of whispers and has a club on his foot. You got to learn when to know your lane.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I think my one of my gripes, I would say, of a season that I've really enjoyed is I think they've like Aegon should probably reel it in a bit. You know what I mean? And I understand like a couple of times he's been out there, but I feel like at a certain point as a writer, you're doing it too much. You know what I mean? Where it's like, why does he keep doing this every time he's getting slapped down? Like eventually, Pavlov's dogs, you learn, right? Like no matter how much your pride is, you're playing this role right now, and he has these ambitions of revenge, and it's like, well, you're not going to get those if you fucking get caught right now.
Hmm.
Yeah. I wonder how much like if you're raised royalty and like everyone reacts to the whim of your word immediately, like how much conditioning do you need to kick out of that, right?
You're right. That probably
He's
takes a long
literally a
time.
king.
Yeah,
And in his mind still is one and
yeah,
is so
Mhm.
used to everybody bending the knee to him. I think, and then like he's mostly just following Laris around, even when he doesn't want to leave his dragon and all that stuff. So I feel like he swallows it a couple times and then he has an outburst. And
Mhm.
he's just, yeah, that's how I was taking it.
I also feel like he doesn't the people who like sit in the small council and you know the heads of noble houses and things like that, they don't well, I shouldn't say all of them, but the people like Aegon or Rhaenyra, they're not used to the concept of like broken men or like people who aren't loyal and are only loyal
right.
to themselves. Like they don't care who's sitting on the throne, they don't care who the head of this house is or that house is. Like they're just trying to eat. And you know, I think that's also a challenge that Aegon's coming across. And maybe he does learn his lesson throughout this season, but it seems doubtful at this point.
Yeah, that's what made Tyrion so dangerous was that he was from a noble house, but was like literally a broken man himself. Like he had lived the life of like someone who was very much looked down upon. Um, we get a Rhaenyra small council meeting. My boy Torrin Manderley is there as Master of
You
Coin.
called it.
Me and Sims talked about. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but we did talk about it this week that we felt like that would happen. He's an actor. That guy is a known quantity in acting, kind of. I think he's in that ping pong movie from the mid 2000s, Balls of Fury. I think our financier
Oh,
Rob Gallagher texted me and said, "I can't believe the guy from Balls of Fury is in this," and that is that guy, which is crazy.
Wow.
Um,
I haven't heard about Balls of Fury, and that's a deep cut.
it's a deep cut, guys. Look it up. It's great. So him and Alan are on the council. This is like the most makeshift council that's ever existed. Damon walks in. He comes with gold and a skull. Rhaenyra is very much having a Saving Private Ryan moment looking at the skull, and she tells everyone to leave. And she's just like, fuck, I wanted to like talk to this guy. I wanted to know what his deal is. Like, who is this person? And Damon's like, whoa, way too many questions.
Honestly, on the flight back from the Vale to King's Landing, like you would think that Damon would have come up with a better story by then. I
hmm.
mean, like just a little bit of back. How about you just actually take Rhaena's backstory? Like I fed sheep to this to sheep stealers so that, you know, it eventually got used to me and I
Yeah.
hopped on and blah blah. And then next thing I know, it took me to the gullet. You know what I mean? Like you
But I
could
feel
Yeah.
like if you have any answers for her, then you would have had to talk to him. So you would have asked, like, are you a Targaryen? Like, are you from Old Valyria? So his
Yeah.
like the better thing is no, we just fucking torched him, and
Just
I didn't get a chance to
yeah,
ask him any questions.
yeah.
he's like, I
That's
just
what
killed this guy. Sheep stealers in the air.
and
Shoot first, ask questions last.
Yeah.
I liked the
100%.
moment when he said something like a dragon isn't a precision instrument, Rhaenyra. Thought that was a good.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden
He's
Damon is like, hey, come on, what do you want from me?
I didn't ask a
he's
question.
mansplaining dragons to the Dragon Queen.
Yeah. Yeah. Typical Damon.
Like,
Um, Rhaenyra then tells Daemon, and Daemon is saying, "All right, with this new gold, let's give it to the Gold Cloaks, make sure that they remain loyal." And Rhaenyra again says, "We're going to give it to the small folk," which I disagree with. In this world, you just can't do that.
In any
Daemon,
world, I mean, we literally saw that, you know, you've got little hints of uprising, like the graffiti going up around King's Landing, and you're not going to pay the City Watch that's like supposed to protect everyone.
well, I think her mind is saying the people who are doing the graffiti, if they get more loaves, will not do the graffiti.
Yeah, but
well,
that's just like that's yeah.
That's in her. I'm just saying that's how she's viewing
shouldn't
it.
she have gone halvesies? Like go halves to the soldiers and halves to the why is it all or nothing?
It's a great idea. That's a great
Great
idea.
point.
She's like a third to
She's
the
been away.
soldiers, a third to the small folk, and a third pizza party, small council because
Yeah.
they've been working hard. And Damon leaves and he says something to my Syria like, "You got her fucking hooked on this small folk thing right now. When she comes to her senses, she'll start listening to me." And my Syria and Damon do not trust each other. And my Syria goes, "By the way, whose skull was that?"
Mhm.
I wonder how much she knows. I feel like Miss Area knows more about what she lets on.
My series, they're playing her very close to the to the vest. She's not like whispering anything right now. She's suggesting ideas, but there's no information coming in. That's what's interesting.
It's
That was a complaint from again, Rob and I were talking about this, where it's like, what's her angle?
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
understand her motivation.
I mean she's serving the small folk more than, the small council, right? Like all of her
Hmm.
But
suggestions are
why?
all give the food to the small folk, give the money to the small folk.
But I feel like she's like typically just like a survivor, right? So like she's like, is she loyal to the small folk? If she is, why?
Yeah, her loyalty, I think, is to her own ambitions and the small folk, and it's not necessarily to Rhaenyra. I think it's to Rhaenyra for now, but I bet it's pliable. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wonder she kind of gives Varys vibes a little bit, but just not as cunning almost.
Yeah, Varys was very much well, because Varys also the whole time of Game of Thrones was like working to raise up Daenerys. You know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
was really tangled in a lot of things. Um, but we get a good scene from there because Rhaenyra's like, "All right, I've had a rough day. It's time for me to do my favorite thing in history of the entire world." And she visits Alicent, and she has a scene with Alicent. She talks to Allison. It's just a quick scene where she's like sending Otto's bones to Old Town, which again we talked about this in last week's pod. Is very standard in this world. Even when you kill an enemy, you will usually do that. Again, the Lannisters did it for Ned Stark. And the whole point of this scene though is because then Helena and Allison are about to like get dressed for the day. Allison grabs Helena's shirt. Helena's pregnant.
Well,
Who's the father?
Who? I don't know. There's a lot of options. I think it's either Aegon or Aemond. I think Aemon could be. I think, but technically, that's the thing about these 2 year gaps is I think Viserys has been dead for like a month and a half in the world of this show. So she could be like 3 to 4 months pregnant and just showing now. You know, that's possible.
what?
Wait, by Viserys?
No, by Aegon.
Oh,
Oh,
Because
oh, I was
that's when
like,
shit hit
whoa,
the
that'd
fan.
be
I doubt they were
crazy.
banging it. Oh my God. No, wait a second. No, no, no.
you didn't see his
I'm no, I'm saying that post Viserys' death, since the war immediately popped off, I doubt
Yeah,
Aegon got
yeah,
one in. So I'm saying before that, before Dad's, because it's hard to have sex with your sister wife after the Civil War starts. So
Right.
so I'm saying pre-Viserys' death, if that's about a month and a half ago, she could be 4 months pregnant, Aegon and her,
yeah.
because
Mm,
Aegon's been so busy with the small council that I doubt he's had time. And now,
mm,
I mean, he's not been in King's Landing now for a while.
got it.
But I thought the whole yeah, well, I guess they do have legitimate kids, but I remember when Aegon was like whoring around in the pleasure houses and stuff, so
Mm.
I didn't know if they were actively, having brother sister sex at that point.
I don't know. I don't know, but it could have been Aemond. We don't know. I don't know because
Could have been.
Aemond though loves those moms.
Yeah.
I guess Elaine is a mom, so I don't know. But I think it's I would assume it's just Aegon's child, and it just happened before the Civil War popped off. Like because she did have quite a belly. It could be like I said, 4 or 5 months. Some people show super late.
So like the
Yeah.
big reveal is that that's a heir to the throne.
Yeah, it's another heir.
Aegon's heir.
When
Yeah.
she quickly covered it, I think Helena just wants to be left alone. I think she's been hiding it because she doesn't want to have another kid, probably. She doesn't want to do this queen thing. She doesn't want this poor child to be subjected to war and, title.
Death. I mean, I think that kid gets served. If it's a male, that kid's not
Mm,
surviving.
No,
mm.
Rhaenyra has no, well, that's true. Rhaenyra has no choice. Damon is going to be like, I gotta take his little dome kid. Or they're going to send a baby to the wall.
This little dome skin.
Dude, a baby servant on the wall.
Baby, steward. Like it's just a little fucking baby. It's just like throwing it at the wildlings. Ah. Um, Ormond, so there's like this is like cutting back and forth to the streets being cleared. Tumbleton streets are being cleared by the Greens in Ormond because it's like curfew. Vermithor flies overhead and it kind of scares Ormond a little bit. The
Hmm.
I'm sure this isn't what Rhaenyra necessarily meant, but the Gold Cloaks are being very heavy-handed on who they think did the graffiti. Who knows if it's the right people, but they're beating the shit out of everybody.
Just like,
Rhaenyra,
are they
she
just like
like
make an example of somebody to get done with it?
well, I think part of the problem is Rhaenyra in her order, she was not very clear about what she meant. She said
Yeah.
just make it stop.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're gonna it's they'll make
Yeah.
it stop temporarily.
All
Um,
right, we got it. Can't graffiti without hands. They're like, they're going
Exactly.
around beating the shit out of everybody. And it's, again, you're going to want a well-paid gold cloak because a well-paid gold cloak listens better.
Hmm.
But they're just being heavy-handed. They're beating the crap out of everybody. This one dude, they're like, you live near the graffiti. That essentially, I think, was what was happening. They were like, you guys are near it, so we don't
yeah,
see you
How
cleaning it.
many how many households just have paint laying around like in like a fictional medieval society? Like I feel
true.
like you could probably start there.
It's a great point. That's a great point, dude. That's actually a really good point. But the gold cloaks, like I said, they're
They're just
heavy-handed.
getting after it.
Just they were trained again. Damon sort of set the culture there, and the
Mhm.
culture was, as Kinsey said, with the sheep stealer situation: shoot first, ask questions later. And that's what they did. And I think it's funny when you're trying to embolden yourself to the small folk. That's usually not a good way to do it.
Yeah, you're giving alms with one hand and you're beating ass with the other.
God, that's that's well said. From there, this is the final scene of the episode, and this is the scene that Chris has issues with, which is perfect because then it goes into the rating, and we can discuss why he has issues with Ormond's portrayal. Daron and Tessarion are hanging out. Ormond shows up. Daron like calls him sire, like bows his head. Tessarion's kind of scared of Ormond too, kind of senses a little funky energy from Ormond. Ormond tells Daron that he's like, listen, you have Targaryen blood. That's unfortunate because really, in your soul, you are a high tower. Targaryens rule because of these beasts, not because they're endowed by some greater power. And then Ormond brings in Hugh Hammer's brother-in-law and tells Daron, you now with your two Craven brothers who have fled, who have the gold hair, who are real Targaryens, you're not going to flee and you're going to be our king. And he asks Daron to execute Hugh Hammer's brother, and Daron does it. And then Tessarion burns him, has a snack. End of episode.
Yeah, I it's giving forced evil character energy for me.
Hmm.
And I, I think one of the reasons many people fall in love with all this in this world, right? All the different books and all the different series is because there's a lot of nuance and like it's not just so black and white. And with the Dance of Dragons specifically before this show even came out, the reason why I loved it so much is like it's a family that's tearing each other apart. There is like it's gray. There's no like completely right or wrong. Like the Council of 101 ruled that it should go to the male heir. Viserys named a female heir. So like the family got ripped in half and there was no like evil aspect to it on either side. And I think by taking Ormond and making him like sadistic and this like high tower supremacist character takes away from all of that nuance. It's just like, oh, bad guy, and now oh, Darren also bad executing people. Oh, Tessarian dragons bad. Like you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just
I think my counterpoint to it that I would make at least is that like some of the things they have done, I think have done the opposite and watered it down too much. Alicent not at all being a Rhaenyra hater, which in the books she fucking despises Rhaenyra. Aemond accidentally killing Lucerys, which in the books it's heavily implied that Aemond chose to kill Lucerys. Like I hate the whoopsie daisy nature of the show a little bit. Like I would prefer someone who's more dogged in their approach, but I agree with you. The one thing I also kind of counter with is like the thing I do enjoy is it's not like it's like the Greens as a team. It's Ormond. Whereas really the Greens are so scattered. There's so many like it's hard to call them the Greens anymore. They're so self-motivated that yes, I agree. Ormond is like the Ramsay of the show now, where it's like, oh, he's the bad. He's just an ultimate bad guy. But at the end of the day, this war is going to be won by either the one-eyed dude on the largest dragon in the realm, who we assume is still alive, or the blacks maintaining order in King's Landing. Those are like the two forces that matter the most, and it's just like so scattered. But I agree. I think like Daron too is sort of pure of heart, so Ormond trying to sort of turn him to this dark side is interesting. And I
Mhm.
was hoping maybe we will in the future see some Daron pushback of kind of like, no, I have a dragon. And if I say I don't want to
Mhm.
stab someone, me and the dragon aren't going to stab someone. That would have
Mhm.
been cool. I wish he would have spurned him.
I will say I was questioning like his motivation towards making killing this guy in secret or in silence without any sort of like audience because he at first ruled in front of the audience that he was justified like in doling out the punishment against the guy who I forget
They're
the
doing
high
some,
tower.
yeah, they're doing some
I was
weird Daron control thing. It's like
yeah,
a weird
so
thing.
to me that was more nuanced than just I'm bad guy. This was like him trying to flip Darren, who he sees as meek and I don't know, pure of heart, into somebody who's ready to be king. That was the only
Yeah,
thing I could come up with.
I see you all's point.
I need to see him be more evil. Like if next
And
episode he's doing more evil, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're right. He's just
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If the episode ended without that final scene and the last kind of taste that we have in our mouth, excuse me, of Ormond is like being firm but just, right? Like, and then Darren kind of squiring and learning from that, does that not somewhat make you more sympathetic to the green
yeah.
side and maybe
Oh,
hope that
I mean,
Aegon and Aemon die and Darren
Chris,
maybe.
yeah, 100%. But we've been hammering this drum about this show. I agree. This is my biggest complaint about the show is that the Greens are the bad guys, and in the books, it's way more nuanced than that. 100%. I agree. I get what you're saying, and I agree. But I think they've
I
done
mean,
that with
when
the Greens in general. They've just set them up as like they added these little scenes of Aegon doing real terrible things when he was a young man coming up, and Aemond
Mhm.
being just like this weird flip of the switch guy. And
but
they've sort of muted Rhaenyra's faults a little bit to make it more black and white. Like that's the thing. That's I think why I've been rooting for more dark Rhaenyra is because the show has already set up the Greens as the bad guys. So I'm like, well, there's no restoring that, so maybe we can do this to counterbalance.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like to me this gave me somebody to root against, which is fun for me. Like I didn't feel like I had anybody to really root against. And then you have Daron who is actually sort of seems like a redeemable character and I'm like actually maybe he would be a good king. So I think it's kind of fun to have someone to
Hmm.
who's a villain who's actually somebody to root against. So I would say I kind of disagree with you guys on this
Yeah.
one.
I love
I
that
mean,
Kinsey said Darren would be a good king. Let's isolate the
I,
audio.
He seems
I mean,
like
it's
a rational human being who appreciates justice. So it's about, scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
No, it's weird. I understand both points, but I do agree that like the end of Game of Thrones, what became so difficult was that like Ramsay's super evil. Oh, now Cersei's super evil. Oh, now the Night King is pure evil. And like you kind of want more nuanced, like I don't know who to root for, but
Yeah.
yeah, I understand both sides 100%.
I remember the first time I read through Fire and Blood, I was always, Team Blacks. Rhaenyra was named the heir. How could that part at least is black and white. Like Viserys named her heir. But then when I read through the Tumbleton battles, I was like, oh man, like
And no spoilers.
I'm kind of rooting for Darren here. Which like I like to me, I'm like, this is awesome because now I don't know. There's a place in, Lord of the Rings type stuff where it's all the evil orcs and,
Yeah.
Sauron and all that. And I think what separates George's writing from that is that nuance and, everything's not so black and white. So
Let me ask you this: do you think if a soldier, if someone struck one of Tywin Lannister's soldiers, do you think he'd have them executed? Do you think he'd hesitate to execute them?
I
Regardless of
think
what Tywin's soldier was doing, like the mountain, like if someone struck him and Tywin felt, oh, you attacked the mountain, I don't care what
well,
the king was doing.
I think if it was someone with a name, I think if it was nobility, then Tywin would do it in a heartbeat. But if it was a man at arms and a town that he's trying to control and keep everyone in order, I think Tywin would punish that man at arms, or at least maybe banish. I don't know that he would geld them, right? But
Bit extreme.
yeah, to me, I think if it's someone without a name, like you're really just talking about, what's your motivation? Are you more interested in keeping the town in order, or are you more interested
So,
in?
but Tywin, let's say he punishes that foot soldier, but then do you think he's letting the guy who punched the foot soldier go? Or do you think he's like, all right, you too, buddy?
It's a good question.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a good
It's tough
question.
to know. We'd have to ask Tywin, get him on the horn.
Yeah.
Rating. This is an important part of our episodes because we've got the fucking rating police on our ass. Our friend Garrett every week has a goddamn opinion about our ratings all of a sudden. Like he's the New York Times and he's rating our ratings. But apparently last week, Chris gave a 9. It was not a 9, Chris, apparently, according to sources. This week, I'm giving this episode an 8. It was a bridge episode, but I really liked it. I liked it moved a lot of the pieces where they need to be. We saw the look ahead. It's fire and blood. This episode was necessary to get there, but it was a really solid bridge. It's a good bridge. It's Golden Gate, baby.
Love it. I gave it a 6.5. It didn't to me it didn't do much. It was a bridge episode. It's getting us to where we need to go. So I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, similar. I gave it a 7.6 because
Okay.
I was entertained. I was thoroughly entertained. I liked Ormond. I thought it was a good new addition, new character, but it certainly is a bridge episode. So I'm not like going in the eights or nines, but I'm thoroughly enjoyed it. It was entertaining.
Nope.
Casual shot at Sheedy, not going in the eights or nine.
It's all
All
right.
right.
It's all right. I fall in love easy. I love my boy Ormond. I love that he's smelling
Well, you're
things.
Team Green, so yeah, this was a big episode for you.
It was a great episode. Aegon kissing feet was a little unfortunate, but it's the calm
Mhm.
before the storm. If Sunfire's alive, that's a big come up. Cole, I like his. We'll get into it. Best line, Yas Queen. Sims, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll lead us off. This one didn't give us too much in like the hard hitting lines, but
I agree.
uh, my best line was from Ormond Hightower to Daeron Targaryen when he said, "Lawlessness and disorder cloud our gates." Like I said, foreshadowing. My yes queen was from Rhaenyra to Ulf when after Ulf asked about the homies, Rhaenyra's like, "Yeah, you basically shouldn't go to bars anymore." And you'll find all your beer in the Red Keep, but yeah, you're not frequenting taverns anymore.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Ormond Hightower, best line, huh? Interesting after all you just said. Kinsey, best best line. What's your best line? Do you got one?
I liked when Damon said that thing uh about dragons not being oh gosh, I
That
lost
was
the
good. I
part.
like that one too. That was a good one.
I lost it.
That was also
Dragons
one of
are
my
not
favorites.
because I felt like he was kind of standing up for his daughter in a way and being like, well, you
Oh
can't
yeah.
control the dragons, they control you. So I
Yeah.
thought I liked that part.
Do you have a Yas Queen or no?
I thought it was funny when it was like a random guy, I think his name was Janos or Janos.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Called he called Aemond Tangled Tongue and Mangled Face.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He called
I thought
Aegon, and there's the Tangle Tongue guy, and he called Aegon Mangled
Mangled
Face.
Face.
Mango
Yeah, super
face.
disrespectful to my
I
king.
thought that was funny.
He will pay. Best line for me was Allison to Rhaenyra saying, "Perhaps sending Daeron away was my truest act of motherhood." And my Yas Queen was after Cole and Gwaine in Simon Strong's quarters discussed their situation, which is not good. And Gwaine sarcastically goes, "We have the enemy just where we want them." Because they don't. They don't at all.
They don't.
Hottest moment. I'll go first because it's an easy one. The hottest moment for me was the Queen of Bastards graffiti. 'Cause
Oof.
it's true. She's a Queen of Bastards. Her three oldest sons are first off, a credit to the Greens for at least getting rid of two of them. You know what I mean? And now we got one more to go until they're bastardless. So Joffrey, you're on the chopping block, Chief. Sims, what's your hottest moment?
Dude, come on. That's just rude, okay?
Child.
Technically, anyone who's queen is queen of all the bastards in the kingdoms, okay? So that doesn't even make sense, honestly, whoever wrote that graffiti. My hottest moment was Reina and Damon meeting for the first time since last season, and
Kind of
it
was the
did
first time.
kind of
Kind of was the first time in general.
first time ever
Hi, I'm your
on
father.
screen. on
Yeah.
screen. But it was like kind of heartbreaking. Like you feel for Reina. She's like, I'm the unfortunate one. I'm the least of all your kids. You never pay attention to me, all that. And to your point, I do see like it looks like they're physically making her look like the description of Nettles from the books.
Yeah.
And she even says like the dragon's a part of me. I think she's turning more into the dragon than, what Sheep Stealer's turning into Rhaena.
Yeah, something about Damon when he visits the Vale, he just has to fucking randomly kill somebody. Like he's just anytime he's there, he's like, before I go, I gotta do it's like when you visit like if you go to like a certain like bar or something, you're like, oh, this is the bar where I, get the popcorn, or it's just like you have to do it for the sake of doing it. He's like, one for the road, I guess. Kins, do you have a hottest moment?
Mine was because I thought it was supposed to be like the sexiest moment. I feel like we got
It
away
could
from
be.
that.
It
Yeah.
could be. Well,
Anyways.
we are Deep Thrones woke now.
Oh, okay. Well, going back to the sexy part, I thought it was Ormond getting out of the bath and then just like walking up to them and saying his men will be on their best behavior if you're on your best behavior with he's just robe open
I agree.
till
It's a
the very
power
end.
move. It's a power move to hang dong in front of in a room full of people. One
Mhm.
of which being like your nephew or your cousin or something. That's a little messed up. But yeah, no, I agree that was a power move by Ormond. And I agree that was actually I take back my hottest moment. That was the hottest moment officially. Um,
Thank you.
Mount Rushmore. Hottest moment for Deep Thrones Pod is that Chris decided not to wear sleeves. Mount Rushmore. We are doing a Mount Rushmore. Kins, you're in on this.
Yes.
Characters from other shows that we would want to see in Westeros. Not like from Game of Thrones, but like other shows. The ethos of shows
Movies
out
too,
there.
right? Just fictional
Anywhere,
Yeah.
characters.
Okay.
from
Yeah.
any kind of media, let's say, all right? If you want to see any, LeBron James in Westeros, whoever, a celebrity or shows or movies. I'm doing specifically like characters, not real
Yeah,
people.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Who wants to go first? 'Cause I don't think I should go first.
Kids, you can lead us.
I can start.
Do you have one? Yeah, there
Yeah.
you
My first is Hermione Granger from Harry Potter
go.
Whoa.
with
Ooh, that's a
her
good pick.
wand and all of her powers.
That's a
Because
good pick.
Feel like her and Alice would be really good friends.
I would love to see it.
All right, take Hermione off the big board. That is a great pick. Sims.
My number one pick is Tony Montana.
Oh,
Dude,
Scarface himself.
just like imagine walking into the throne room and he's just sitting up there with Coke all over him.
Yeah, Rhaenyra just pissed. My number one pick is going to be Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Hmm.
Imagine him and Tywin having
Is
a
he a
battle.
maester? He's a
No,
maester.
no, he's just like Tywin Lannister. He's giving him. Just imagine Ramsay fucking de-dicking Mr. Feeney.
All right, kids, you're up.
I was going Darth Vader.
Mm,
Just
Whoa,
little
mm.
would love to see some lightsaber action.
it's sick. Yeah, mine is. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Viserys comes back.
Yeah.
Do the heavy
Rhaenyra,
breathing.
I am your father.
Sims.
Um, Mine is Puff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, damn, a
So
dragon.
like, dude, so just picture this, all these dragons hanging out, and then like Puff shows up and just gets them all like high as fuck, and like Damon's like, Caraxes, why aren't you waking up?
Caraxes, stop eating. Stop eating Doritos, Caraxes. My number two pick is Steve from Blue's Clues. Maester, he loves the mail. He's constantly sending ravens. Anytime he gets a raven, he's like, "Here's the mail. I want a whale. It makes me want." And then everyone's just staring at him like, what the fuck is this guy doing?"
Talking dog,
Yeah.
kind of.
Kinsey, number three.
I was just going through my favorite movies and shows, and my third favorite show slash movie. Anyway, The Great British Baking Show, and I was like, I think there's ever watched. There's a
Yeah.
guy named Paul
Paul
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Yeah,
He's got White Walker eyes,
he does.
so I figure he could get in the mix.
He had a
Bake
White Walker personality if you undercook that fucking bread.
exactly. Yep.
My third pick is the green M&M. Pre-nerf before they took away the high
Hot,
heels and the
hot green.
hot green
Yeah,
M&M. Yeah. Yeah. She'd be the mistress of whispers.
for Team Greens.
Yeah.
You fit right in. Uh, my third pick, and I was thinking of like Flea Bottom, and I was like, who'd be a good scumbag living in Flea Bottom? Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
He'd be
he'd be
great. He'd be
great.
running around. He'd be killing.
Right, right in.
He would be
Rat
great for
Basher.
killing the rats. He'd be the rat
Yeah.
basher in King's Landing. He'd be like, "You got a
Man,
whole mess of rats downstairs." Like,
he's got his bat with nails.
yeah. He's like, "Yeah, he's bashing the rats. All of a sudden, these guys are cutting the king's head off." I'm like, "Whoa," he's doing that whole thing.
Someone get Condo on the line.
I know.
Yeah,
We'll get him on there.
it's
Fourth and
amazing.
final pick, Kinsey.
Okay, went again just from my favorite shows. Schmidt from New Girl.
Mm,
Mm,
He
mm.
wouldn't last a day, but
yeah,
would be
he'd get
pretty
murdered.
funny.
DJ
He'd get
Quintini by
murdered.
Ramsey. Yeah.
So I have some honorable mentions, so I'm trying to figure out who I want to.
Mm.
I think I'll
Rip all of
I
them.
think my fourth pick officially is Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Mm.
So he'd be up there, Night's Watch, chopping up all the Walking Dead, or all the White Walkers, and then seven from from what's it called? Stranger Things,
Stranger Things. Yeah.
right? Isn't that or 11?
11.
Not
Seven? Oh my
11.
Yeah.
goodness.
Yes,
You were thinking of
11.
7-Eleven, one of my favorite
Yes.
restaurants. That's where I get my food.
Your favorite.
You ever go, you get those rolling hot dogs, and you're like, that one looks good. My final pick is a good one. It's Richie from The Bear. I think he would
Mm.
just be great, you
Cuz?
know? Why? Yeah, cousin. I think he'd be
Why?
great. He would just be a good pick. He would be good to have in the mix. He's loyal, but he also isn't afraid to stand up to people. I really like the Rick Grimes pick. I'm just imagining him, like, Carl. Is that what he always would say? Carl. He'd be like, Rhaenyra. Um, we had a request this week for a Westeros History Minute.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, you can continue, but it's kind of disappointing.
Why?
Well, there's not much. I did a lot of digging on Darren, and there's just all of his lore is stuff that's to happen.
Things to come. People
So
get
I
nervous.
Oh.
like
But
I
Daron the
don't really have
Daring.
much to give before.
Just tell her first off, the show I think did a poor job of setting him up. So just say who he is, what
Where
Yeah.
order.
did the request come from? Hold on.
A friend of the pod, Hannah,
I knew it.
specifically asked about Darren the Daring. But I've had a lot of questions about Darren.
Okay.
We've had other friends of the pod ask about Darren. Ben has asked me about Darren, like, why do we have to care about this person? So
I was with her before this, and she was like, "I heard you guys are going to talk about Daron today,"
a
and
lot
I'm
of
like,
people,
"Now this is making
a
sense."
lot of people wondering about Darren the Daring, and I'm
A
still gonna
lot of
call him
people are
Darren.
asking.
About Darren. A lot of people have been talking about Darren the Daring.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they laid it all out there in this episode. I mean, he's the youngest of his siblings, the oldest Aegon, Aemon's the second, Helena the third, and then Darren. He was sent off as a baby to Old Town, was raised there as a squire to Ormond, who Book Ormond is not as sadistic. Um, but yeah, he was accompanying the host, headed east toward King's Landing with Tessarion. Tumbleton happens. That's where he gets the daring nickname from. So we'll learn a lot more about him.
Accompanying the
But
host, you said. I swear to God, I thought you said accompanying the hose. And I was like, what is Daron doing?
yes,
I
fuck
was like,
yeah,
I was like, good for I was like,
Hello.
that's why he's Daron the
Darren,
Daring, baby.
Darren the dog. Let's go. Yeah. So I'm sorry to disappoint Hannah. There's not much. But you're gonna find out a whole lot about him
Yeah.
this season.
There we
So
go. All right, but that's good. He is the child of Viserys and Alicent. That's really it. Really it.
It's
for
it's
now.
super interesting to me that like it turns out he's going to be very important, I guess. And we've not
Oh
seen
yeah.
him for 2 seasons. Like you didn't see any of that decision that Allison made in the beginning. Like,
No, they
um,
didn't. It's just they had to jump time so much that part of
yeah.
me wonders if they actually like considered cutting him, and then
Mm,
we're like, well, we just can't because he's very significant.
interesting.
And then at the end of season 2, we got our first look at him in the form of Tessarion, the Blue Queen, flying over the Hightower host, and that's when we were like, okay, Daron's confirmed. Obviously, Otto mentions him at like halfway through season 2, but
Mm.
season 1, just a quick like, if only Darren could be here to see Aegon being crowned, right? Everybody, remember Darren? Like one of those. But
Something
yeah,
interesting.
that's next segment. You blew it. Who blew it this episode? I'll go first. Aegon, my sweet king. I'm still rooting for you. You are my king. And yet you just cannot swallow your pride. And you better start, mister, because you're on thin ice. So Aegon, my sweet king,
You blew it.
you blew it.
You blew it, buddy. That was actually my same one, so I won't even have to do another one.
Yeah, that'll just be the double
Kins, you're
blow.
up. A double
The double
blow.
blow,
I
classic
had the
double blow.
same one.
It was Aegon?
Oh, no
Yeah.
way. A triple blow?
The very
Triple
rare
blow.
triple blow. Oh my goodness. Wait,
Oh
let's
my
all
goodness.
you blew it. You blew it. You blew it.
Good.
Aegon. And he has kind of been blowing it. Just relax. Swallow your pride. Chill. Okay? Chill, Aegon. Crown their ass. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I got two. So I'll actually let you guys go first, because if you use one of mine, then I'll pull it away. Kinsey, who is your crown their ass? Who's their MVP of the episode?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, I had just like a crown your ass as like my another very good moment that I liked. I wouldn't say he was my hero of the episode. Anyways, I liked Ulf saying to Rhaenyra that they protest her in the streets because I liked somebody giving her a reality check of like
Oh,
you're not winning over the small folk, like
yeah.
bringing her back to reality a little bit.
Yeah, that counts. Ulf, but unfortunately, that does mean that Ulf was your MVP of the episode officially. So
Okay, now
that's
I
gonna
know the
be.
premise a
It's too
little bit
late.
better.
It is what it is. Sims.
Honestly, we've got very few good scenes left with Elf and potential MVP status. So I think we I think we let that rest. Mine was Darren Targaryen.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, Ormond, I think, officially kind of crowned him behind closed doors. So, yeah, MVP of the episode.
I got two, and they're both O's. Ormond, Hightower, and Orwyle. My sweet Prince Orwyle. From the ashes, he has risen to be a very significant player in Rhaenyra's small council. And Ormond, I think, it's just good to have a guy with a little edge on the team. Just a guy who's not afraid to mix it up. He's like the Bash brothers. He's kind of the guy that'll get down and dirty. And that's how I feel about Ormond, and also kind of how I feel about Orwyle as well. So they're my crown their asses. Strategy with Lord Mims. Mims. What are you feeling about Tumbleton if you're Rhaenyra? What are you doing about Tumbleton if you're Rhaenyra? How are you handling Tumbleton if you are Rhaenyra?
I think you place it under siege. I mean, you're already sending two dragons there. Why don't I guess they do kind of have a host coming there, but have they officially been rerouted from King's Landing to Tumbleton?
Orwell suggested it, and Rhaenyra was like, "Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
think
Damon's
that's the
army."
move. I think that's the move, right? Like that way, yeah, I guess you're kind of starving the people who are loyal to you, similar to what you did in King's Landing, but it's either that or like go in and torch everyone by dragon flame. So
Yeah,
um, I think that's your best move.
I love that. That's a good call, Chris. Final segment, trial by combat. This week's trial by combat. Everyone is talking about this show, Love Island. I don't watch it. I don't know anything about it, but everyone's talking about it. Does anyone here watch it?
Hmm.
You do?
No,
Is it good?
I find it entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's reality TV, right? It's kind of like a Love is Blind thing, right? It's couples, people are going there to fall in love.
Yeah, Love
Just
is Blind.
allegedly.
Anyways,
allegedly. The real way to fall in love in this world is to flame emoji things on Instagram. All right, so my idea was a Game of Thrones style Love Island, and it takes place in the Water Gardens in Dorne because it's kind of like like a islandy type place, but they rebranded. They call it the Thirst Gardens
mm.
because they're gonna get them all jammed up in there instead of like like how those always in those. You know how they do those confessionals in like all those shows where they're always like talking to the camera, like, I can't believe Bradley didn't want to go on a date with me. They do all that shit. They do that, but it's like a weirwood tree. They're just like talking to the weirwood tree, telling you like I can't believe this, and it's all Westeros based people. You get Aemond and Daemon and Rhaenyra and Alicent, Kristen Cole, Jaime Lannister, Tormund
Mm.
Giantsbane, Brienne Tarth, Podrick Sansa, Sir Duncan the Tall, Daenerys. Like we have men and women vying for each other's hands, vying for each other's hearts. Weekly challenges like a trial by combat.
Mm.
There's a thing called the Long Night, which is where you do a total blackout where you're not allowed to talk to each other. It's just like a vibe thing. Um, Truth or dagger, that's self-explanatory. It's either truth or you sword fight somebody. If you get eliminated, you have to go to the wall. That's a pretty cool one. I didn't know what
Mm.
to call it. That was the hardest point. I was going to call it Game of Bones, but that's Taken. That's actually an adult film. So I had to change it to, yeah, it's beyond me. I had to change it to Game of Moans.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Tagline, winter is coming, so is everyone else. Game of
Pretty good.
Moans. It's a reality TV,
Oh
but I
man.
guess it's not really reality because it's all fake characters. But AI could do it. AI could make it happen.
It's pre-reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-Tom.
Preeta.
Pre
Preeta. We were talking before the okay, so we should review pull back the curtain of the Deep Throats pod. We had a lot of fun before the episode talking about the episode's called Tumbleton, but we think there's an episode later on that definitely should be called Tumbleton because it's more significant then. You're smart people listening. You can connect the dots there. Probably a little bit of a skirmish. And we said this episode should be called Pre-Tum. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the pod.
Free Tum Tum.
Anyway, we hope you've had a great time listening. Final thoughts, everyone. Let's wrap it up with a pretty little bow.
Um, a solid episode. It's a bridge episode. We established Rhaenyra good, Ormond bad. So I guess that's how it is now. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe Darren comes back and makes us root for him a little bit, but excited to see where this goes. The look ahead looked awesome. So yeah, feeling good about it.
Nice. Kinsey?
Yeah, look ahead looked awesome. I'd be curious, since you say Ormond in the book was not as sadistic, but the little bit that I read of this book, it was more of a history book. And I feel like
Hmm.
if he's putting up the front in public that he's just couldn't behind
Yeah,
curtains he'd be less
for
so. I
sure.
feel like maybe
Hmm.
that's what the angle that they're taking. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
that's
justify
100%. You're you're breaking down my facade right now, but I think just in general I enjoyed the nuance there. But yeah, you're right, it totally could. And they set it up that it was behind closed doors too.
Oh,
So
she
yeah.
got you. She got you. A man with no sleeves
It
has no
just is like
secrets.
a connection I've made since listening, sitting here listening. So I thought I had to bring it up. But I do get your point of wanting to have like, as long as in my mind, as long as there's good and bad on both sides, then we'll still get that gray area nuance battle that
If they have
mhm.
Orman like next episode doing like some like weirdly sadistic stuff though, it's gonna be like, oh, okay,
yeah, we'll
all
see.
right, reel it in a little bit.
I see your point.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how
just
I
like,
saw
yeah,
it.
I agree. I agree. I will say on behalf of the Deep Thrones pod, the amount of people reaching out, saying really nice things, sending memes galore, interacting with the pod has been amazing. We appreciate that. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Any last words? Anybody? Nope.
Are you gonna close out with Alice Rivers this time?
I wasn't gonna. Should I?
Oh damn
Throw
it.
it
No,
back.
I thought you were going to with the throwing it back and everything.
Oh, that was Jane Eyre. Jane
Oh,
Eyre's
that's
throwing it back.
Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you're
you know
right.
what? You know what? Jane Eyre, Alice Rivers, Allison, Rhaenyra, all you guys hit me up and maybe we can get some full time.
Fire emoji.
Whips, check out the hand switch. Shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Aria just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots.